Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends, so we have been discussing and learning about 5 precepts. The basic virtue or morality for lay people. So what are those 5 precepts? Abstaining from killing beings, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, and abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. So today we have to learn about the last precept, abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. So in Pali, Pali was the language of the Buddha. In Pali, that precept is Sura Mere Majjapama Dattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. I undertake the precept of abstaining from intoxicating drinks and substances that cause loss of awareness. So taking those intoxicating drinks and substances cause loss of awareness. So dear friends, this is not just a rule. It is a training for something deeper. So keeping this precept helps us to have clarity in our mind, and it helps us to keep our awareness, and also it helps us to have the freedom of mind, because everything in life starts in the mind. So once Buddha said, mind is chief. Mind precedes everything. If someone speak or act with an unpleasant mind, then suffering follows that person. So if someone doesn't have a good awareness, if someone doesn't have clarity in their mind, then it creates an environment in their mind for negative thoughts to be arisen very easily. So then their mind is not pure, their mind is impure. So when they speak or act with such a mind, then what happened? Suffering follows that person. But if someone speak or act with a pleasant mind, then happiness follows that person. So it means, like, if someone take intoxicating drinks and drugs, then it creates an environment in their mind to negative thoughts to be arisen very easily. Then it creates an impure mind. So then that leads to the suffering. So when the mind is clear, life is clear. But when the mind is clouded, everything becomes unstable. So, dear friends, what are those intoxicants? So, intoxicants are anything that alcohol, drugs, substances that cloud awareness, anything that reduces mindfulness, even small things that slowly reduce clarity of our mind can become part of this. So, intoxicants directly affect our inner system. So, we know it can reduce our mindfulness, weaken self-control, increase mistakes, and lead to harmful actions, and also disturb our relationships. So, the most important part is when awareness is gone, wisdom also goes offline. So, then we cannot think clearly, we cannot make right decisions. And most importantly, we cannot understand what the good is and what the bad is. So taking intoxicants weaken our ability to understand wholesome things and unwholesome things. So it weaken our wisdom. But however, we need to understand the intention is the most important thing. Because you might think, okay, when I take some medicine, also I lose my awareness and my mind becomes a little bit clouded. Okay? So then if you take some medicine like that, do you break any precept? No, not at all. Okay? Why? Because you don't have any intention to get intoxicated by taking those medicines or drugs. But however, you know, some people, they take medicines and some drugs, some legal drugs, to get intoxicated. Then they break that precept. So that's why intention is really important. But however, for the monks, it goes a little bit further. For a monk, suppose even if a monk doesn't have intention to get intoxicated by drinking something, but they drink some drinks without knowing those drinks contain some alcohol. But if they drink it, they violate their precept. Okay? Because monks, they have to be aware of what they take in their life, okay? Because it helps them to have to improve their mindfulness. Okay? So that's why for the monks, this rule is very strict, okay? Very strict. But however, for lay people, even if you don't know, if suppose like when you drink something, but if you get intoxicated because of that, and if you don't have any understanding about that at that moment, so this contains some alcohol or some intoxicants, then you do not violate that precept. But for the monks, because since monks have to be more mindful of what they do, so for the monks, they break the precepts. So, but however, we always need to understand the importance of intention. So, intention is really important because once Buddha said, intention becomes the karma. Intention becomes the karma. So, if you don't have any intention to get intoxicated by taking some drugs or alcohol, so then you do not break any precept. And if you take some intoxicant without knowing about that, so then you don't break any precept. But however, always we need to be mindful what we drink and what we eat, because here is the thing, because it helps us to improve our mindfulness. So so this is a different thing. For monks, like, we cannot eat something, we cannot eat any food if they are not offered to us. So normally someone should give food to our hand, then we can eat that. So then things like in a monastery, there are some food, then a monk think, okay, this food is offered to the monks already, then they eat. But after they get to know, oh, those foods weren't offered to the monks by a lay person or a novice monk. Okay? So then they break that precept, because they have a precept for the monks, for high ordained monks, like the food should be offered to them, otherwise they cannot eat that. Okay? So why there is a precept like that? Because it helps them to be more mindful of their action. So likewise, we need to be more mindful. But however, when we speak about karma, good or bad karma, intention determines whether it becomes a good karma or a bad karma. We all know that taking intoxicants again and again in a large amounts can make so many problems in our life. So in Buddhism, like Buddha has clearly mentioned that taking intoxicants or alcohol or some any other substances that cause loss of awareness generate bad karma. And in one of the suttas, Buddha says, using intoxicants again and again, especially in large amounts, can lead to very serious consequences. So in that sutta, Buddha says it can lead to be reborn in a bad destination after the death. And also in the human life, the results can be that mental confusion, loss of clarity, and also it can cause some disturbance in the mind. In Buddhism, like, there's a precept like this for the monks and also for the lay people as well. Now let's try to look at this precept in modern aspect. So a couple of years ago, I watched a TED Talk. Still, it's in the YouTube. So then in the TED Talk, it speaks about the brain damages that happens because of alcohol. And so I think now many people know about that. So taking alcohol and intoxicants can make significant damages to the brain. So because of that, people lose their emotional balance, and they lose their brain power, and also it slows down the brain activity as well. And then that self-control becomes weaker. So because of that, people do so many wrongful things because of that. And also we need to understand the most important thing. Another most important thing is, like, we need to accept this is not a good for our physical body, and also this is not good for our spiritual life as well. Because for someone, it could be a little bit difficult to avoid taking intoxicants, because they might have been addicted to taking alcohol and other substances. But the first thing they need to have, that they have to understand and they have to accept that taking alcohol and substances are not good for me, and it generates some bad karma, and it doesn't help me to develop my spiritual life, and also it is harmful to my normal life as well, because that understanding becomes a part of their right view. So because right view is really important to abandon bad things in our life and cultivate wholesome things in our life. And also we know, like, there are some researches about the bad impact of taking drugs and alcohol. So I think we all know, like, it cause memory decline and reduce attention and also emotional instability. This morning, we did a food drive. So actually, we prepared some food, and then we gave packs of meals to homeless people. Most of the people who came to get their food were addicted to drugs. They also had a good life, but because of this drug addiction, now they have become homeless. So actually, the people in that place said that the most important food for them are the foods with sugar, okay? Because it helps them to have some energy in their body. So actually, it creates so many issues, like taking alcohol and drugs making so many issues in this world. And not only personally, it also makes social impact as well. I think some people, they have their experiences in their life. So, and also, in Canada and the US, I think one of the main causes of car accidents is driving under the influence. So it creates so many social impact in this world. So that's why that keeping this precept is helpful to someone individually, and also it helps to make this world a better place as well. So every precept, so we talk about those 5 precepts. So every precept helps people to develop their spirituality. It helps them to improve their awareness and their mental clarity. And also it helps to make this world a better place. So that's why keeping precept is really important to have a peaceful life. Yeah. So because normally sometimes, like, people do not pay enough attention to the keeping precepts, because sometimes, like, people think, okay, it's okay to violate a precept a little bit. Okay, it's okay to take a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of drugs. Okay? But it can be the first step toward a disaster. So that's why in Buddhism, like Buddha has clearly mentioned, taking at least a little bit of intoxicants, breaking this 5th precept. Suppose, like, if someone take one sip of alcohol, so then they break that precept. But however, here is the thing. In the Buddha's time, there was one guy, like he also addicted to alcohol. And when he passed away, Buddha said before he passed away, he attained the first stage of the enlightenment. Okay? So how come such thing happen? Yes, because even though he was addicted to the drugs, he has been practicing the teachings of the Buddha for a long time. So he knew his weakness, and he has been putting effort. He has been trying to abandon that bad habit in his life. So because of that, at the last moment in his life, he was able to attain the first stage of the enlightenment. So it doesn't mean that even if you take drugs, even if you take alcohol, then very easily you can attain the first stage of the enlightenment. It doesn't mean something like that. It means like there might be some weaknesses in our life, but even though we have weaknesses in our life, if we keep practicing mindfulness, meditation, and if we keep trying to develop our wisdom, then gradually we can let go of those bad habits in our life, and gradually we can reach to higher level of the spirituality. So that is the most important thing. So we don't need to worry about any weaknesses that we have. So we need to accept, oh, I have this weakness in my life, and I can abandon this weakness. I can let go of this weakness by practicing mindfulness, by practicing meditation, and by keep developing wisdom. So then gradually we will be able to abandon those bad habits in our life, and then gradually we will be able to complete our precept, and then we will be able to attain some stages of the enlightenment in our life. And here's another thing. Whenever we practice good things and whenever we abandon bad things in our life, there are three things that help us to do that. The first one is right view. Right view means the understanding of unwholesome things and understanding of wholesome things. And the second one is the right effort. We need to put right effort. And the third one is right mindfulness. We need to have that mindfulness in our life. So whenever we practice good things in our life, these three things help us to practice those good things. And these three things helps us to abandon bad things in our life as well. So we need to keep developing these three things in our life to improve our good habits, and also to abandon our bad habits. Right view, right effort, and right mindfulness. Then it's also applicable to abandon taking alcohol, and also keeping this fifth precept.